to turn this on just a skosh early because I've had struggles with YouTube lately. And so I decided I better give this a try right away. And then if it didn't work, I was going to be prepared to do something different. And of course, because I was fully prepared, it appears that it's working. So if you are here and you can see me, please let me know. I am not seeing myself yet on my computer or on my iPad. So hold on, come with me just a moment and let me see if I did the right thing here. I might not have. No, it said I'm in the right thing. Huh. Oh, yay, Mary's here. Okay. I was like, oh my gosh, there's nobody here. What's going on? Okay, so there we go. I can see the chat. Everything looks good. Phew. Okay. Yeah, this YouTube thing is just driving me crazy. And I never know if it's going to work or not going to work. So that's really frustrating because sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. So anyway, here we are. So I hope you guys all had a fabulous new year. This is our very first live in this group, and I'm super excited to be the one doing it. I have two projects for you guys today. We have, as you may be aware, I wonder if I should wait to talk about this until people get on. Maybe I'll just chit chat about something stupid that doesn't matter until we get the people in here. What doesn't matter? It finally snowed here. That's super exciting for us because we've been terrified that we're going to have another horrible fire summer like we did last summer where we lost about 100,000 acres. Was it 100,000? It was a lot. I think it was 100,000 acres up on the mountain from just really close to my house. Not that I was ever in any danger. I was not. But we finally got some snow. We got about, I would say probably 5 inches or so we finally got. So yay. Hopefully we get more. I'm not looking for like 2 or 3 feet like I know some of you have had, but you know, if we could just have some continuous snow here, that would be really, really good to get the mountains fully packed with snow so that we hopefully do not have, of course, if we have fully packed mountains with snow, then we're going to have landslides. So I don't know. Ugh. It's hard to know what to wish for. I don't want to wish for too much. We want just the right amount of snow, just the right amount of rain in the spring, just the right amount, you know, just the right amount of everything. But of course, we don't get what we want all the time. So it is what it is. Okay, so we are getting a few more of you on here. Hopefully people are finding us. I did put the link in the group. It is in the schedule. So as you guys know, everything that we do, at least most everything we do, we try to keep in that schedule. Now, of course, that schedule is manually updated. So a lot of the things we don't have scheduled. Like, you know, I did a gallery upload yesterday. Well, there was no time for that. So, and Dina is the one that updates the schedule. So it's a manual process. So if something's not on the schedule right away when it happens, you know, just give her a little grace because she'll get to it. But you can always scroll through the group and find things that way. And so hopefully you guys have had a chance to check out the gallery upload that I did yesterday, some super cute cards. Most of those cards are cards I got in swaps, either from my team, from my monthly team swap, or from swaps I do with other demonstrators. A few of them are cards I made myself over the Christmas holiday. So be sure to check that out. What else is in there? Or what else have we done so far? We have posted 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th. What's today? Today's the 6th. So there should be, this is my live today. So this is another one of the videos. We've had the other days have had videos posted also. So hopefully you guys are really, really getting into everything that's going on. Please scroll through the group. When you get to the group, just scroll all the way to the bottom. There's probably maybe 20 posts in there total, I would imagine right now. So if you just scroll through, you can see everything eventually. So that's your best friend in these Facebook groups is to scroll until you get to the bottom and you can't scroll anymore. And then you'll know you've actually seen everything that there is to see. So that's super exciting. So I hope you guys have all been having a great time checking out all the great stuff that we have to offer because we are packing this event full of things. We have enlisted the help of some guest stampers. Those videos will be coming up a little bit later on in the event. As you guys know, we are offering a make and take packet for sale. If you guys are interested in that, I do have links in the video to all three of us. So just order with the demonstrator that you normally work with. If you don't happen to work with any of us, just do an eeny, meeny, miny, mo and choose one. Just kidding. The make and take pack is going to include 2 different designer series papers, 2 different ribbons, 2 different embellishments, and then a pre-cut cardstock pack of all the 9 cards that we are going to demonstrate for the make and take packet. So today is the first day that you will see make and take projects. So there will be 2 in this video. Kelly will be live in a couple of days with 2 more. Then Dina will be live with 2 more. So that's 6. We have a total of 9. During bingo, we will each be demonstrating our last make and take card. So we'll play a couple games of bingo, demonstrate a card, a couple games of bingo, demonstrate a card, a couple games of bingo, demonstrate a card. And that will be the total of 9 cards. So only the projects that are done in these 3 live events, me, Dina, and Kelly, and then the bingo, those are your make and take cards. We will also have a separate gallery on the group where we will post these make and take projects. So you'll be able to know for sure what projects are in the make and take packet. Okay. So I just want to make all that perfectly clear. And the only way that you can play bingo, just to make that also clear, is to buy a make and take packet from one of us. And then in the registration process, you will include your 5 bingo numbers from 1 to 25. And those are the numbers that we're going to use to play bingo. That's going to happen on January 17th. I can't remember the time. I think it's 7 p.m. Central. I could be wrong about that, but that's in the schedule. So that's what's coming up. Now, everybody can watch bingo. You should be able to watch bingo. So you'll be able to see us make the cards. You just won't be able to participate in winning the bingo if you don't purchase a make and take packet. And we are giving away 6 $75 prizes for a total of $450 of prizes in bingo. So that is awesome. And for those of you that have registered and paid the $18 fee to get into this group, you will also receive a free gift in the mail from us. Or if you're out of the country, you will get a digital gift. Stampin' Up! Rules prevent us from sending Stampin' Up! Products overseas, out of the United States. So we've got that going on too. We've been doing daily prize patrols. Those will continue. Every day we will have a prize for somebody. One of you that's in this group will win a prize every single day. So that's really exciting. What else? We have prizes for our card challenges. So please get your stamps out and participate in the card challenges. There's 2 card challenges. Kelly did a layout, Dina did a color combo, and then I did the mystery stamping. So there are prizes for all 3 of those things as well. So, and the prizes are only based on participation. So that's it. If you make a card and you post it, you're in the drawing. It's very simple. Let's just say that you do the mystery stamping. You're like, well, I don't know if I did it right. There is no right or wrong with mystery stamping. It's how you interpret the clues that I've given you. So please don't be afraid to take those clues and just make your card how you think it should be made. There's no right or wrong. And what's really cool and what I love about mystery stamping is, of course, that I have the card that I based the entire mystery stamping off of. And what I love is I love going through and seeing the way you guys interpret it. See how it's different from the way that I originally have it. And I love doing that because that just gives me more ideas of how to use the layout. So it's a win for everyone. So please don't be afraid to comment on everyone's cards that are in there. Everybody loves getting kudos on their cards. So if you see a card in there and it strikes your fancy, please leave a comment. Let that person know that you enjoyed their project, because that's just so fun to get that little bit of reassurance that your card is fabulous. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So I think I've covered everything. Oh, I keep forgetting. My phone does not always show me the comments. So I got to look at my iPad. And when I'm blabbing away, I'm not really paying attention. So I think a lot of you guys are talking about your weather. That's good. Weather affects all of us. So we need to keep up on it, right? Okay. Yes, I think that's what it is. I don't see any actual stamping questions, which is fine. But if you have a stamping question, please go ahead and ask it. I will do my best to look back and forth as I'm stamping to try to answer your question if I see it. And a lot of times, some of you guys are really awesome about helping each other and answering each other's questions. So feel free to do that if you know the answer. Okay, so I think I have blabbed on long enough. I'm going to flip my camera and we are going to get to these 2 projects. All right. Get the camera put into these separate holes. Stamping, and that bugs me. So we got to get that hair out of the face. Okay, here we go. As I mentioned, you guys are going to be getting hey, Cheryl said it's buffering. Does anybody else have that problem? Or is it just, hopefully, not to be rude, Cheryl, but I hope it's just you. Okay, Cheryl says it's okay now. Okay. And like I said, not to be rude, I hope it's only you, Cheryl, and that it's no one else, because if it's everyone else, then it's my problem. Okay, so we are going to talk a little bit about quickly what you're going to get in the Make and Take packet if you do purchase it. I'm trying to find all my little goodies here. Okay, so we have two different styles of designer series paper. We have I think it's the mixed florals. I think that's what this is called. We're using this paper, and you will get some of this in the pack. Okay, so it was for a moment. So that was definitely my problem. Well, fingers crossed that's not going to happen anymore. So you're going to get some of this paper. You're going to get some of the bouquet paper, which is super cute. In case you guys didn't know, the word B-O-K-E-H is pronounced bouquet. Just a little tip for you. So you're going to get some of this also, along with the mixed, whatever that's called, florals, I think it is. You're going to get these adorable little itty bitty bouquet mix of sequins and little gems, which are really awesome. You're going to get some of the low profile dots. I don't have very many low profile dots, but yours will be a lot more than this. You're going to get some Shy Shamrock ribbon, and then you're going to get some of this woven white ribbon also. Okay, so that's going to be, and then you're going to get your Make and Take packet, which is all of the pre-cut cardstock pieces for all of the projects. Okay, so project number 1. Oh, also, we are using the Bright Borders stamp sets along with the To the Point punch. This is not a bundle, okay? The bundle is actually, let me grab it. Oh. Well, now I don't know where it is. It's something with Valentines and hearts that has some of these similar images in it. So the bundle is actually that stamp set and the punch. Then you can add this bundle, but we are using these two items. So even though it looks like they would be a bundle, they're not, they're separate. Okay. We're using those. We're also using the Spring Corners bundle. This is a new online exclusive that's going to be going live tomorrow, along with Celebration starting. And then we're using the butterflies. The Beautiful Butterflies bundle, which is the hybrid embossing folder, the dies, and the stamp set. My dies are around here somewhere. Okay, so my first project, I'm going to be using the Bright Borders stamp set and the To the Point punch. And then here are my cardstock pieces. So I have a piece of Petal Pink that is 8.5 by 5.5. I've got a 4 by 5.25 inch piece of white for the inside. I have a 4.5 by 3.25 inch piece of Calypso Coral. And then I have a scrap of white to do some punching and stamping. And then out of the mixed florals paper, we've got this little piece here that is 3 by 3. And then we have this pattern here that is 1 1/8 by 3. Okay. We're also going to be using some of the Shy Shamrock ribbon, as well as some of the low profile dots. Okay. I think that's everything we need to make the card. Now let me get my stamps and ink out here. So I'm going to be using Calypso Coral, Petal Pink, and Shy Shamrock. Oops. Somehow I got a bunch of coral ink on that pad, and if I don't wipe it off on my pants, it's going to get on my hands and make a mess. All right, so out of the stamp set, I'm using this little leafy label right here. I'm using this cute little floral pattern. I'm using this little line piece. I don't know what you'd call that. Maybe a line break or something. I'm using the So Happy For You stamp, and the future is bright. Okay, so first of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little stamping on this piece here. And because it is photopolymer, I'm going to bring in a mat, a foam mat, so that when I do my stamping, my images are nice and crisp. So I'm going to start out with the Shy Shamrock. And like I said, this little leafy image here. And let's see, how do I want to do that? I'm going to stamp it on here like this. All right, then I'm going to open up my Calypso Coral ink. And let's see if anybody's asked me any questions. Nope, we're good. Okay. I'm inking this up in Calypso Coral. This says, yay, so happy for you. And I'm going to stamp that right in the center as best I can center it. One thing I did notice about this stamp, you might notice that there are little, like these little tiny leaves that kind of point up and down. Those actually go right in the points of the punch, okay? So just keep that in mind as you're doing your stamping and your punching. That's just how I've done it. You don't have to do it like that, but that's how I've purposely done that. Okay. So then I can punch this out. So we'll get those little leaves at the top and the bottom right there in the little points, and then we'll give that a little punch. Then the next thing I'm going to do is I am going to stamp my little line piece here, like this little break, I guess you'd call it, a little line break. I'm going to stamp that right here on this scrap of paper. And then I'm going to stamp "The Future is Bright" in some coral. Right above it, trying to make it even and straight, but you know, we do the best we can. Hopefully that's good. And then I'm going to cut this out. Something. So I'm just kind of centering it. We're going to end up trimming it to make it smaller. So you only have to make it nice on the sides. The top and the bottom doesn't make any difference. Okay. There we go. And then while we have this punch here, we're going to take a label out of this side, because we're going to cover this side with a piece of designer series paper. So if we have a hole in that, oh, wait a minute, that's not right. Scratch that whole thing. That isn't going to work. We need a scrap. And I'll tell you why here in a second, because yeah, you're going to get a scrap because you need another one of these. If we punch a hole in this, you're going to be able to see it, and that's not going to work. So we're going to go ahead and do this instead. So what I'm going to do here is I am going to chop off the top and the bottom of this label a little bit. You can use a trimmer or you can use scissors. I'm just going to grab a trimmer and we'll just see how that works. I'm going to get my ink out of the way though, so I don't make a mess, because everybody knows what happens if you have open ink pads. It can be a disastrous problem. Okay, so I'm going to put this in. I'm going to put my points. These points happen to be at the 1/2 inch mark. And I'm going to chop that off. Then I'm going to whip this around, and I'm going to put the edge that I just chopped off at the 1 inch mark. My points are still at the 1/2. And then whoops, I just twisted it. And then I'm going to chop it off again. Oops, I'm going to have to be very careful here. So I'm going to lay this down, and I'm going to just kind of leave it, put some pressure on it, and chop it off. Okay, so then we have this little thing like this. And like I said, you could use scissors, whatever is easier for you. All right, so now I'm going to take this little guy and I'm going to attach it to this piece that we made, kind of lining it up in the middle there with the points. Okay. Whoops, I got that off just a hair, but it's fine. Then you can either use your trimmer again or some scissors to just kind of follow along that line of white and chop that off. So I left about, I suppose that's about 1/8 of an inch. And that's what we end up with. So we have these two labels right now so far. So now we're going to add our designer series paper to our layer of Calypso coral. In my mind that was going to work, but in reality it's not. You cannot punch that label out of this. So you'll get a scrap of coral in your kit to do that with. And then we'll add a little glue to this little strip here. I was kind of really glad that this particular designer series paper has some Shy Shamrock in it, because I don't use that enough. And so this is really going to let me get my Shy Shamrock out and start using it. Okay, so then we're going to wrap some ribbon around this. Now I am terrible at wrapping ribbon around cards and tying them tight. I'm terrible at it, so I'm not even going to do it. I'm going to do this instead. I'm going to grab something. This happens to be a bottle of our Stampin' Mist, and I'm going to tie my knot around my bottle rather than trying to tie it around the paper, because I always fail. So I figure if I always fail, there's other people out there too that probably fail some of the time. And so this is just a little easier way, at least for me, to tie nice knots so that they lay nice and flat. Okay, so then I'm going to put my knot on here and we're going to add this label, but I'm going to push those aside for the moment while we work on our main card base. And we are going to fold this in half. Okay, and then you can either do this with a trimmer and score it, or you can just fold it. If you want to score it, you're going to score it at about 2 1/8. I just like to fold it over and tuck it into the fold line there, and then just do it that way. For me, that's just as easy as doing it the other way. All right, so we have that done. So now we're going to add a little bit of detail to these two corners, and I'm going to do that with some petal pink ink and this cute little kind of flower confetti image, if you will. I guess I will use my foam mat, get everything situated so I can do what I'm doing here. And I'm just going to take this little guy, I'm going to ink it up, and I'm just going to stamp a few of these up here in the corner. And then I'm going to come down at the bottom and I'm going to do the exact same thing. Stamp one there, stamp one there, and then we'll get this one here right at the corner. Easy peasy. Now we're going to clean this stamp off. Got my chamois over here. I just got a new chamois out. Isn't that so fun when you get a new chamois and it's not black? I'm going to spank it a little bit so it's dry. Then I'm going to bring in my Shy Shamrock, and I'm going to use that same stamp, and I'm going to do some Shy Shamrock images up here in this top corner. So I'm going to do it the exact same way that I did it on the front. And then we'll have a little bit of interest also on the inside layer. All right, that should be all my stamping done. Get my pads out of here. So we're going to make this kind of an easel type card, which is going to be really fun. So that's the reason why we couldn't take our chunk out of this layer, because we're going to glue it to the front. And if we had taken our chunk out, then we'd be able to see that. And that would be awful. So we're not doing that. Okay, so we need to put our ribbon on. So I'm going to figure out where I want my knot. I'm going to want my knot in the center of this green piece here. So I'm going to kind of hold that with my hand, and it's not centered. You'll notice it is down from center. And then I am just going to pull my knot over a little bit, and then I'm just going to chop that off. So this way, when I wrap my ribbon around, it's going to be nice and tight. Okay. Because as I said before, I struggle with getting my ribbons tight on, and actually, you know what, in only this instance am I going to use some seal to make my ribbon stick, because I want to make sure that my tape also doesn't show through the back. Okay, so we're going to put our knot where we want it once again, about like that. I'm going to fold my ribbon back. Hopefully it hits my seal. Yes, it did. And then I'm going to pull this ribbon across, and hopefully it hits my seal. And it did. Yay me. Okay, because now when I stick this on my card and we flip it up, I shouldn't be able to see anything back there. That was my whole thing. Okay, so I am going to go ahead and attach this to the center of the card, and I'm going to do that by adding some glue. But I'm going to add my glue at the bottom of this piece up to the ribbon. And then I'm going to come in here and I'm going to do it right below the fold line. Okay, and that way I should, actually I'm going to put a little on the ribbons too. I should have glue everywhere I need it. All right, so then we're going to just kind of press this down, trying to center it as best we can from side to side and top to bottom. Did I move it? Yes, I thought I did. I thought I picked up my hand and I thought I moved it. And I was like, Barb, that's not going to work. Okay, so now we're going to have this nice easel card, and we shouldn't be able to see anything back there, which is super nice. Okay, then we've got our little label here. I've got a, what is that? Somehow I got glue on that. What? How did that even happen? Did anybody see? Did I like throw my glue down and touch this? Good thing I got an adhesive eraser right here. Okay. So now I'm going to put my label on, but I'm just going to kind of tuck it under my ribbon just a little bit, and I'm going to use some dimensionals to get that stuck on there. And I feel like I can just use one at the top and the bottom to kind of straddle that ribbon. And about like this. Yep, I think that's good. So now I am going to trim off my ribbon tails because they are a little bit too long. There we go. All right. Then we're going to attach this to the inside of the card. And then we'll add our little bumper so that when we open up our card, the easel will work. Okay, so trying to get that nice and centered. All right, so then when I have it open, I'm going to have it open about like that. And then I'm just going to stick this not completely in the center, but not completely over to the side. Because I find if you stick it clear over to the side, sometimes the card will like tilt when it's opened. So I want it a little bit not centered, but not on the edge. Hopefully that babbling made sense to you. All right, I'm going to press my fingernails into those dimensionals to release the paper backing. And then I am just going to add this into the card about here. So then I have a little bumper there for that. And isn't that just adorable? All right, for my final trick, I'm going to bring in my low profile dots. And luckily, some of these are petal pink. So that's amazing. Now, I haven't tried to color these yet, but I think they just sort of feel like the kind of gem you could color if you needed to. So just want to throw that out there. So I'm just going to do what you normally do when you have gems, and that is to kind of put them around your focal point to kind of really bring emphasis to that. So there we go. How cute is that? A little easel card. Open it up. We've got a little fun. You still have a little space to write your message. And of course it folds flat for mailing. So yay for that. All right. So that is project number 1. Make and take project number 1. Let me get some of these things out of the way here so that we can bring in the stuff for make and take project number 2. I'll probably need my take your pick tool still, so I'm going to keep that out here. And my dimensionals and my scissors, all that good stuff. All right, let me put that aside so that I don't lose it. All right, nice and clean like I like it. All right, project number 2 for me is using the Spring Corners bundle. Now, as I said, this is an online exclusive. You won't find it in the mini catalog, but you can find it if you go to the online store tomorrow. If you're a demonstrator, obviously you've already had access to this, but if you're a customer, tomorrow will be the day that you can order this. And so we will be using it in 3 of our, or I should get probably 3 of our make and take projects. So this is the first one. So it is a stamp set, which obviously you can see it's got these fun corner sentiments in it, which of course, spring corners, right? Then the dies, there's a lot of fun little dies in here. Today, this is the one that I'm going to be using, so we'll be showcasing that in our project. But I did kind of put together some of these other pieces just so you can kind of see what else you're going to get here. Now, there are these 2 pieces here. There's a circle and this starburst. Of course, in my eyes, it makes a sun. It wouldn't have to make a sun, but it totally could make a sun. So I think that's pretty fun. Or it can just be a circle all by itself. I'm pretty sure it's about a 1 1/4 inch. And it's a nice straight circle. Yep, it's a 1 1/4 inch. So that could be a nice addition to your circle collection. Then we have this little kind of scallopy corner. And here is that. So I die cut that out of Pretty in Pink. And then I just stuck it on a corner of this white piece of cardstock. Okay. This little guy here, it cuts out like this. So it takes it completely out of your card. It doesn't like leave. What am I trying to say? I don't know what I'm trying to say, but this is what it does. Oh, it's upside down. Good Lord. Okay. So I cut it out of Summer Splash, and then I cut it out of the white. So the white piece I threw away. I kept the negative piece of the white, inlaid the Summer Splash, and then put it on a little piece of black. So that is a really fun corner, I think. And then, of course, it has this little balloon set or stamp and coordinates with this balloon die. So I did cut a couple of those just to kind of make a little tag card. And then it does have a straight little happy birthday sentiment. Whoops, there's a big glare there in case you didn't see that. It's got a straight happy birthday sentiment. So that's a few of them. Let me grab the last one here. This is the last piece. There are 2 of these. So this is what it would end up doing. It doesn't cut the flower out, but it does cut the petals so that they could be raised up a little bit. You know, if that was the kind of look you were going for, to kind of pull those up and give it a little bit of 3D action. Super fun. I think a little gem in the corner would be really cute too. And then of course it does cut out the leaves. So I just wanted to kind of give you an idea of what some of these dies did so that you would know going into this what we might be looking at. And then of course it's got some single dies here. We've got 3 different hearts. And then we have this little kind of tiny bouquet that also has a die. And then, as I said, the balloons have a die. And I think that's all the dies. And then there's this fun one here that we're going to actually be using on the card today. So I'm going to put all those dies back in their sleeve with my, whoops, actually I'm going to leave my samples out. Okay, so that's the one we're using today. So here are the pieces and parts. We're going to start with a piece of black. This is a 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2 and folded to make a card base. We have a layer of white that will be going on the inside. This is 4 by 5 1/4. I have 2 pieces of white here. One of them, I got to get my notes. One of them is 3 1/4 by 3 3/4, and then the other one is 3 3/8 by 3 7/8. Okay, so these are going to layer together. You're also going to get a little scrap of black. This is about a 2-inch square. Then you're going to take a piece of designer series paper. This happens to be out of the beautiful bouquet or bouquet something. It's the bouquet paper. And we're going to cut it. I'm trying to figure out how this goes back together. So, oh, because I cut that off. Okay, so it was something like this, if I remember right. Anyways, I have a template for you. So the piece of paper is 6 by 6, okay? So what you're going to want to do first is cut it at 3 inches. That would be this part here. Then you're going to cut this piece to 3 by 5 1/2. Okay, that's where I was missing a little chunk down here. So then you have this little section left. Then you're going to cut over 2 1/2 inches out of that second section. And then you have these 2 pieces. This one's going to be 2 1/2 inch square. This one would be 2 1/2 by 3 1/2. And then you end up with a little 1/2 inch strip. Okay, so we're going to use this one on the front of the card. We're going to use this little chunk on the front of the card, and we're going to use this on the inside. And then you're left with this to do whatever her little heart desires with. Okay. All right. So we're going to start out with our smaller piece of white. So it's the 3 1/4 by 3 3/4. And I'm going to bring in my foam mat, and I am going to stamp my sentiment in the corner here. So this is how I have my stamp set up. I have taken the sentiment. The one I'm using is thank you for everything. I like thank you cards. I need a lot of them. So I put my thank you for everything in the corner of my block. Okay. Personally, for me, I have a lot of problem when I'm inking up a stamp. I end up getting ink all over my block. And then when I stamp it, even though this is the only thing I want stamped, I will end up having a blob of black here, and I'll get that on my card. So I thought to myself, what if I put another stamp here just to kind of make it so it's even? So there's no, like, if there's no stamp over here, it's very easy to like fall down on this side. So I put this stamp here only as a placeholder. Okay. So I'm not actually going to ink this piece up. I'm only inking up my sentiment. Let me show you. So this is my new Memento black pad. I have seen this done by other people and I wanted to try it. I finally got around to doing it. Here it is. We sell in the catalog a blank foam pad with a white craft ink refill. Okay. So what the idea of that is you would ink up your pad with the white craft ink, and then you could use it for whatever you wanted to use it for. You can emboss with it. You can just do, rub it across your design, whatever you want to do. I didn't want a white ink pad. I wanted to have my Memento pad be in a foam pad because Memento comes in a hard linen cover. And sometimes it's difficult to get things inked up with a hard linen cover. So I have done this with mine. So I inked it up with Memento ink, and now it is a nice foam pad with Memento. So that's beside the point. What I'm going to do is I'm going to ink up my stamp. So you can see I'm not getting this image here. I'm only getting this thank you part. And then I'm going to rotate my pad, and then I'm going to bring it in, and I'm only going to get the for everything. Okay. So I've got the for everything and the thank you. Now, if you need to mask this off so it doesn't get ink and you do the whole thing and peel your tape off, by all means do that. So now when I go to stamp this, I don't have to worry about me having ink over here. And I guess I could just do it carefully, but this also helps me get a nicer image, I feel like, because I'm not able to rock it. So what I'm doing is I'm lining up the edge of the photopolymer all the way around, not necessarily the edge of the words, okay? So I've got the photopolymer right to the edge of my card. I'm going to press that down, and then I get a beautifully stamped image because this helps me, okay? That's just a little tip that works for me and might not work for you, and that's fine. Okay, so let me put my ink pad away so I don't stick my hands in it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my little die here, and you'll notice it does say Stampin' Up, and then it has the item code on it here. Can you see that? So in my mind, that's the straight edge of this die. Okay, so that's going to help me, in my mind, line it up so it's nice and straight. So you would think you'd want to put it like this, right? So that you have equal distance from the die to the paper. But I don't really think that's what it's supposed to be. So what I did with mine is I lined it up so that the words were nice and straight with the edge of my piece of cardstock. Okay. And then I die cut it, and this is how it came out. So it came out, in my mind, perfectly. Okay, so that's how I did that. If you think it looks better like this, then by all means, that's the way you should do it. But I didn't think so. So that's what I've got now. Okay. Then we're going to take our little black scrap and we're going to die cut that again. So we're going to stick this on here. Now this scrap is not quite big enough, but it doesn't matter. We don't need the entire image. All we're looking for is these little cone flower tops. Okay, so you're going to run that through your machine, and then you're going to save these little cone flower tops. So you're going to get the big one, the medium one, and the tiny one. I just have some extras in case I screwed it up. Okay, so you're going to keep those. All right, so we've done this process. We're done with that. So now what we have here is we have this layer of white and this layer of white. I'm going to push my little cone pieces off, and we have our 2.5-inch piece of this beautiful designer series paper. I'm going to attach that behind this layer right here. So I'm going to turn this over, and I'm going to add a little bit of liquid glue kind of around my stamp, or around my die cut area, excuse me. And then I'm going to come in here where there's some thicker spots, and I'm going to add a little glue into those thicker spots. That's just going to help the whole thing stick down to the paper. And I'm trying to be a little bit mindful. I'm trying not to go too crazy, you know, and throwing glue everywhere. But I'm just trying to make sure that I have enough glue that it is going to stick on this piece of paper. I don't want, well, I guess I could use that side, but I'm actually going to use the side that kind of has the circle images on it. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this and I'm just going to stick it on from the back. So then we have that beautiful paper kind of peeking through at us. And now we're going to add our little cone flower tops. At least I think this is a cone flower. I'm not a botanist, so I don't really know for sure what it is. I'm just winging it. All right, so I'm going to take your pick tool, and I'm going to drop those little black tops into their little spots. And then they're nice and flat in there. And this final tiny one right there. Use my pointy end to kind of make sure that I get it in there where it's supposed to be. Okay, so that's what we've got so far. Then I'm going to bring in some Wink of Stella. And I think this pen still has some Wink of Stella on it. And I am just going to color these little cone tops with my Wink of Stella. This one is just about out. I may have to get my other one here. Or maybe it's better that it's not completely slopping out all over the place, and I'm able to use a lot of control here, so I can only get my little cone tops. Okay, so now we have some sparkly tops of our flowers. So cute. Okay, so then that piece is going to be attached to the other white layer with some dimensionals. Whoops. Where did I put my dimensionals? All right, so I'm going to go 5, 1 in each corner, and then 1 in the middle. And again, I just like to press my fingernails into those. That kind of forces up one side of the dimensional backing, and then I can just peel it right off. No problem. And I barely even have a fingernail, so. Okay, so this is going to go on. We're just going to have a tiny border. It's just going to give a little interest to the whole project, okay? All right, so now this is our inside layer. We don't need that. We're going to bring in this piece here. Now you can do this one of two ways. You can either leave this right in the middle, add your ribbon, add your focal point, and be done with it. Or if you want, you can flag the end of this. I'm going to flag the end of it because I think that's kind of cool. So I'm going to bring my scissors in and I'm going to go up about maybe 3/4 of an inch right up the middle. And then I'm going to bring my scissors from the corner to that cut line on each side. All right, so we're just going to scoot that right over to our cut line. I think I need to go just a tiny bit more. Okay, and then same thing over here. I'm going to start my scissors at the point. I'm going to kind of turn them around, angle them towards that spot that I'm going for, and then cut that off. So now I have this nice kind of banner end. And then when I stick that on, I have a little banner end. Now, for me, this is not quite, I want it to be up a little bit. So I'm going to chop off some of the top of this. That's up to you how much you want to chop off. I'm going to guess, and it's going to be about 1/2 inch, give or take. And then I'm going to stick that on there like that. So that when I put my focal point on, we have, whoops, scooch that down. Okay, here's a tip because I screwed this up. I cut off too much. So here's what we're going to do to alleviate the screw up that I just did. We're going to cut this in half, okay? And we're going to attach the top part at the top, right in the middle. I think that's right in the middle. And then the bottom part, because I need it to be just a little longer than I made it. So we're going to cover that up though, so no one's going to know that I screwed that up. So that's the beauty of some of these tips I have. Nobody knows that you screwed it up. Okay, and then that. And now I can decide how far down I want it. I want it to be about 1/4 of an inch or so from the bottom. So we're going to go like that. And like I said, no one is going to know that I screwed that up. Yay. Okay, so now I'm going to wrap some ribbon around here. You have two options. We're giving you this beautiful white ribbon. You can go and just to your heart's content, you can wrap it around, you can tie it in a little knot, and you can call it good, and you can have some white ribbon on here if that's what you want to do. So if it was white, that's what it would look like. White doesn't look terrible. However, I wanted it to be colored, and so I do this a lot with my white ribbons. I take an old embellishment container, I fill it up with water and an ink refill, 2 to 1. 2 waters, 1 ink. So I put like 16 drops of water in here, 8 drops of ink. I mixed it all up. You can see there's still liquid in there. I cut off about a 16, 17-inch chunk of that same ribbon. I wrapped it around my hand like this. And then I stuck it in there and I dunked it and I pushed it around and I got it all saturated wet. And then I took a little clip and I hung it from a little thing I have in my bathroom. And so now I have fresh freesia colored ribbon, which excites me a lot. So it's the same length. It's about 16, 17 inches, but now it's going to match. So you have the two options. If you want to have it be the white, great. If you want to have it be fresh freesia, you can have it be fresh freesia. Okay, so I'm going to tie it into a knot here. And the beauty of this is if I don't get it nice and tight, it doesn't matter because I can chop it up and, well, I'll show you because chances are I'm probably not going to get it. We're going to try. We're going to do our best. But me tying ribbons around cardstock just doesn't really work that good. Oh my gosh, the minute I say I'm going to screw it up, I actually got it to work. So wow, look at that. Okay, so then you just kind of decide where you want it. And I need it to be a little bit farther over. So somewhere in this black area probably. And then I'm going to add my piece here. It needs to be over just a little farther. And then I'm going to add this. How fun is that? Super fun. Okay. I need to kind of get that nice and tight though. All right. So, and I think I'm going to just attach this. I don't think I'm going to use dimensionals. I think I'm just going to use, well, you know, I better use dimensionals. And the reason I say that is because it might try to lift itself up over here where my ribbon is. So we're going to go dimensionals. Let's just say I didn't get that tied nicely like I had wanted to. What you can do then is you can chop the ribbon right here in the middle, and you can pull the two sides together and overlap them with a piece of tape, because when you put your thing on top of it, no one's going to see your tape. Okay. So that's what I normally have to do. So I don't know how in the world I got so lucky that this actually worked, but here we are, right? Okay. So again, when you get your ribbon placed, then we are going to bring this piece in, and we're just going to try to center it. I'm centering it from side to side, not necessarily from top to bottom. I'm just trying to make it look nice. Hopefully that looks nice. Okay, so then we have our nice ribbon pieces here. So then we can cut the ends off. And this is a bit of an overkill with the amount that I used, but I just wanted to make sure that I had enough. So that's why. All right. And there we go. So then we have this cute little ribbon accent up there. Now we're going to bring in the itty bitty bouquet mix. And in this mix of goods, sometimes I'll just kind of shoot some out into the lid so that I can sort of see what I've got in here. And you'll notice, if I can get my take your pick tool out, there are these fun little like half gems that are in this collection of goodies. Here's another one. And here's another one. So, and they're actually kind of purpley colored, which I thought was pretty cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some glue on the card here, some little dots of glue. Oops, I need to make sure I don't squirt this out all over the place. Oop, I don't want to make too big of a blob. So I'm going to put a little blob here, a little blob here. Let me get those two on, and then I'll see where I want my second or my third blob. I think I had too much ink on, or too much glue on that. So I'm going to pick up my little gem here and stick it on the glue. Pick up another one, stick it on the glue. There we go. And now where do I want this one? Do I want it in here? Like that? How does that look? Let me look through the camera. Yeah, I think that's good. Okay, so I'm going to put that right there. Aren't these fun? Now I kind of feel like, since my card is Fresh Freesia, that these work really well. But let me see something. I got a piece of Coastal Cabana here, and I want to see if these will look any different if I put them on a piece of Coastal Cabana. This little gem. Where did it go? It's right there. Because sometimes these things will kind of take on the color that you stick on with them. And it does a little bit. It does a little bit. Anyway. And there's a lot of different colors of goodies in there. There's also like a little clear disc that's really fun. Okay, so we have that done. Scoot that out of the way. So then for the inside of my card, we have that strip that we saved. And I went ahead and did use that corner piece that I had as a buffer on my original stamp. I did use that down here in the corner in black. And then I put the "You Brighten My Day" sentiment down there. So now all I have to do is just add this little strip of this bouquet paper, and I'm going to put that right here. And if I cut it right, it'll be perfect, but I don't think I did. I think it's a little long, which, you know, in the big scheme of life, as far as card making goes, it's better if it's a little long rather than a little short. So chop that off. Let's see, any other comments? Nope, we don't have too many comments, so we're good. I haven't missed anything. Okay, and then I'm going to add this to the inside. And get that in there. Trying to center it. Oops, and my ribbon's not completely centered on the inside, so we can just kind of fudge that up a little bit. Okay, and there it is. Isn't that just so cute? We've got a little bit of sparkle in our little cone tops there. We've got the gems, the ribbon, and then the inside. So those are the two cards for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed that. If you've got any questions about the cards, go ahead and leave them in the comments. I'll try to monitor the comments after the fact. If you guys have your make and take invoices, Kelly and I use invoicing. If you've gotten an invoice, please get that paid, because we're going to be ordering everything in the morning, and we want to make sure that we order enough for everyone. So please pay those invoices if you have not. If you haven't already registered, please register hopefully today, if you can. Like I said, we're going to try to get everything ordered tomorrow. And with the way sometimes, things come and go with Stampin' Up's inventory, we want to make sure we have enough products for everybody that wants the make and take packet. So again, the links to those packets are in the description of this video. And if you guys have any other questions, let me know. And I hope you have a fantastic day. Let me bring that other card in. So here we go. This is make and take 1, make and take 2. All right, guys, I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.